All right, Shalom Israel. Yeah, Shalom. We're at the I.S.U.P.K Street, New York, under Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Prison Officer Yakad. This is Prison Officer SHALAM. All right, and today we are about to begin today's Sabbath service. It's like medium. Sir.
Shalom to Israel.
Marjam, Panya Kodam, Trinity and face the east. Sir.
We're going to say Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemaya. Kodash. Ayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Alakwaka. Bezaka. Rapta. Kawa. Shemakan. Anawa. Akam. Kal. Yawam. Wasalak no. I will be done. In earth, as in heaven. This is the bread. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debt. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not in temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. We're going to say the Hakat, Yahweh, Hashem, Oshai, Noah, Rapa, Agun, Hashem, Oshai, Lord, in the name of your Bless us. And Israel. So be it. We get Psalm 121. Ashaya, Ayanya, Alhawayam, Mayayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Malayam, Yahweh, Asha, Shamayam, Warateza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Galka, Alyanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'at, Yashashan, Ayashan, Samoma, Yashala, Yahweh, Tamalka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Adiyai, Samyanka, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Asamash, La'a, Yakalka, Baala, Yahweh, Yasamalka, Bakarai, Yasama, Adnaspaka, Yahweh, Yasama, Tazalka, Tazalka, Wabawaka, Maita, Waid, I will up.
In English, we say, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
Whence comes my help?
Whence comes my help?
I come from the Lord.
from the Lord.
Heaven and earth.
Which heaven and earth.
You will not suffer thy foot to be
You will
moved.
not suffer thy foot to be
He that
moved.
keepeth thee,
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel,
that keepeth Israel
shall not slumber nor
shall
sleep.
not slumber nor
The
sleep.
Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy
The
keeper.
Lord is shade upon thy right
The Lord
hand.
is shade upon thy right
The sun
hand.
shall smite thee
The
by
sun
day,
shall smite thy day,
nor the moon by
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee.
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time
From
forth.
this time forth,
Even
and
forevermore.
even forevermore. We say Psalm 33. Alahayam,
Alahayam.
Alamailaka, Aitashakwa, Waldashakwa,
Shakwa.
Alkaya,
Aliyah.
Anam,
Anam.
Abowaka,
Oyabaka.
Yahama,
One.
Raish,
Rash.
Rash, Aimaka,
Yeah. That's not good.
Yaira,
Ira.
Yamawa,
Yamawo.
Sawada, Wayata,
Wayata.
Yaitazawa,
Wahaitazawo.
Aitaskowanka,
Aitazawo.
Amawa,
Amawo.
Lakawa,
Lakawo.
Wakaka, Wakaradam, Magawa,
Magaria.
Walaa,
Wala'a.
Yazaka,
Zaka.
Shamashala, Aiwada,
Aiwada.
Kaya,
Iya.
now Aitazawa, Laba,
Laba.
Yakawa,
Yakawa.
Ayaka,
Ayaka.
Bariat,
Bariat.
Yakar, Yakwaratwa,
Yakaratwa.
Alahaya,
Ahaya.
Ahaya, Arawam,
Awam.
Waya Shamai,
Oyashimai.
Alahayam,
Ahaya.
Mabara,
Ahaba.
Wahagariam,
Ahaba.
Wahagayam, Gabal,
Gabal.
Wa'aymuwan,
Wa'aymuwan.
Wa'aymalak,
Wa'aymalak.
Pasalat,
Alasha.
Palashat, Yashabia,
Shabia.
Tazawo,
Tazawo.
Gamashawo, Lanawo,
Lanawo.
Agmam,
Imam.
Hayawa,
Ayawa.
Zawawai,
Sarawai.
Labanya,
Labani.
Lawat,
Lawat.
Salah,
Salah.
Aishalam,
Ashalam.
Kamadian,
Kamani.
Kasaya,
Kasaya.
Sarah,
Sarah.
Kamadian,
Kamani.
Manakal,
Manakal.
Kayashwan,
Yashua.
Nashamadwa,
Nashamarwa.
Bayana Daira,
Bayanda.
Yahawa,
Ayawa.
Daman,
Daman.
Laadama,
Adam.
Shayatamwa,
Shayatama.
Nada,
Nada.
Yamabwa,
Yamowa.
Kairab,
Kairab.
Wakazabak,
Kazabak.
Wakazabak,
Kazabak.
Wakatazal,
Kazabak.
Manai,
Manai.
Kalnasa,
Kanasaya.
Kanasaya, Yakamawa, Yakamwa, Asha, Amawa,
Amawo.
Nayarasha,
Nayarasha.
Lanawa,
Lanawo.
At,
At.
Nawat,
Nawat.
Alahayam,
Alahaya.
Alahaya,
Alahaya.
Shaya Tamwa,
Shayatama.
Gangala,
Gangala.
Kakwas,
Akwa.
Lapanya,
Manya.
Wawak,
Raka.
Rauka, Kaish, Karash, Tabeira,
Tabaira.
Raira,
Ira.
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba.
Talahat,
Talahat.
Harayam,
Arayam.
Kantabra Daima,
Kantarapanda.
Padma, Basaraika,
Basaraika.
Wabasa,
Wabasa.
Wapatka,
Wapatka.
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam.
Mala'a,
Mala'a.
Panyaham,
Panyaham.
Palawan,
Palawan.
Wayabaswa,
Wayabaswa.
Chamka,
Chamka.
Yahawa,
Yahawa.
Yabaswa,
Basha.
Wayabahalawa,
Wayabahala.
Aidiyai,
Ayah.
Wayaka Kapamwa,
Wayakaparu.
Wayadamwa,
Wayadam.
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaya.
Kayata,
Kayata.
Chamka,
Chamka.
Yahawa, Labatka,
Labadka.
Ayowan,
Ayawan.
I call Ratiza.
We Samuel 3 English. Is keep not a silent to God.
Keep not silent to God.
And hold not thy peace.
And hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O God.
Be not still, O God.
For lo,
For
thy enemies make it to mock.
Thy enemies make it to mock.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
Lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty
They
counsel.
have taken crafty
against
counsel
thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted.
And consulted.
Against thy hidden ones.
Against thy hidden
They have
ones.
said.
They said.
Someone let us cut them off.
Someone let us cut them off.
Being a nation.
From being a nation.
The name of Israel.
The name of Israel.
No one remember.
No one remember.
They have consulted together.
They consulted together.
One consent.
One
They have
consent.
confederate
They
against
conferred against
tabernacles of Edom.
Tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarene.
And the Hagarene.
The Baal.
The Baal.
Ammon.
And Ammon.
Amalek.
And Amalek.
And the Philistines.
And the
The
Philistines.
inhabitants of
The
Tyre.
inhabitants of Tyre.
I serve. Is also joined with them.
Also joined with them.
They are faithful.
They are faithful.
Children of Lot.
Children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sarah.
As to Sarah.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
The brook of his
And the
son.
book of his
Which
son.
perish at Endor.
Which perish at Endor.
They came as dung for you.
Came as dung for you.
Make their nobles.
Make their nobles.
Like a reb.
Like a reb.
Like Z.
Like Z.
Yea. All their princes.
All the princes.
As Sabbath.
As Sabbath.
And as Azaluna.
As Azaluna.
Who said.
Who said.
Let us take for
Let
ourselves.
us take to
The
ourselves.
houses of God.
The houses of God.
Possession.
And possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a
Make
weed.
them like a
And
weed.
stubble before the wind.
Stubble before the wind.
And the fire burn into wood.
And fire going into the
The
wind.
flames set the mountains on
The
fire.
flames set the mountain on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
Make them like a
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces.
Fill their faces.
With shame.
With shame.
That they may seek thy name.
May
O
seek
Lord.
thy name, O God.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled forever.
And troubled forever.
Yea. Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to
And
shame.
perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
Whose
Whose name alone is Yahweh.
name alone is Jehovah.
Most High.
The Most High. Over our leader.
Sir. The Shabbat which means to be seated. Yeah. 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 All right, so we continue the reading the book of Leviticus. And starting from verse 21. The book of Leviticus, chapter 14 and verse 21. Wayama the la awa wa ayan yadawa mashaga walapa walapaka kabash akad masham latanawa lakapa aliyawa wa aisharaya salakia wa aisharawan salah akad balawal bashaman Lamaka, Walaga, Shaman. Verse 22. Washataya, Tarayam, Awa, Shanaya, Ban, Yawaya, Ashura, Tashayag, Yadawa, Wahaya, Akkad, Khata'atha, Wahakad, Ailaha, verse 23, Wahabaya, Atam, Bayawam, Hashamaya Yan, Salakia, Hashama Yanaya, Lataharathwa, Allah, Hakahan, Allah, Pathaka, Ahau, Mawaida, Lapanya, Yahau, verse 24, Walakwaka, Hakahan, Atta, Kabash, Awa Shama, Wa'ata, Laga, Hashaman, Wahana, Atam, Hakanaha, Hakahan, Salakia. Tanawak, Lapanya, Yahau. Verse 25. Washakata, Atta, Kabash, Ha'asham, Walakoka, Hakahan, Madam, Ha'asha, Wanatan, Al, Tanawak, Azan, Hamataha, Hayamnayah, Wa'al, Bahan, Yadawa, Hayamanayah, Wa'al, Bahan, Ragalal, Hayamanayah, verse 26. Wamana, Hashanaman, Yatazakwa, Akahan, Al, Kap, Akahan, Hashamalaya, Yaf. Verse 27. Wahaza, Hakahan, Ba'ataza, Ba'aiwa, Hayama, Nayaf. Mana, Hashaman, Ashar, Al, Kapawa, Hashamala, Yaf. Shaba'ai, Pa'ai Mayam, Lapanya, Yahweh. That's good.
Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 21. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take one of the lamb for a trespass offering to be waived, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil. Verse 22. And 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. Verse 23. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacles of the congregation before the Lord. Verse 24. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. Verse 25. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. Verse 26, and the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Verse 27, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord.
Most thank Christ. So this again more or less going through the processes in which, you know, the nation of Israel, when dealing with when it comes to the sacrifices, right? Verse 21 says, let's piggybacking off 21, and the priest shall offer a burnt offering and meat offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, right? And he shall be clean, right? From the previous chapter, we're talking about those persons who had particular diseases or issues, and when the priest look at them, make sure that they are clean or from whatever disease that they had before, and once the man is clean, then he would give an offering. Right? Verse 21 says, they say, if the man be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take one of the lamb for a trespass offering, right, to be waived, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil, right, and 2 turtle doves and 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get. And the one shall be a sin offering, and the other shall be a burnt offering. So it allowed that opportunity that even if the man was so-called poor and didn't have much resources, that he was still able to get stuff to make those atonements. So I don't know if you had anything.
No.
Sorry. Right, so we continue the reading, right? The book of Leviticus, chapter 14 and verse 28. Verse 28. Wanathan, Akahan, Man, Hashaman, Ashar, Aya, Kapawa, I, Tanawa, Azan, Amata, Ha, Salakia, Hayamna Yaf, Wa'al, Bahan, Yadawa, Azayam Nayaf, Wa'al, Bahan, Ragalawa, Hayam, Al, Makowam, Dam, Ha'asham. Verse 29. Wahana, Watara, Man, Hashaman, Ashar, Al, Kapa, Akahan, Yathan, Ar, Ra'ash, Amataha, La Kapa, Al Yawa, Lapanya Yahweh, Wa Aisha, Ata, Ha'akar, Man, Hatharayan, Wa Salaki Awa, Man, Banya, Hayawan, Ma'asha, Ta Tasha'iyag, Yadawa, verse 31. Ata, Asha, Yadawa, Ata, Ha'akad, Kata, Ata, Wa'ata, Ha'akad, Ailaha, Ail, Amanaka, Wakapa, Akahan, Al, Amata, Hara, Lapanya, Yahweh, verse 32. Za'ata, Tawara, Asha, Bawa, Nagai, Tazara'aitha, Asha, La'a, Tashayag, Yadawa, Bata Arathawa, verse 33. Wayadaba, Yahweh, Allah, Masha, Wa Allah, Aran, La'ama, verse 34. Kaya, Tabawa, La'a, Arataza, Kana'aina, Asha, Anaya, Nathan, Lakam, Lahakaza, Wanata Taya, Nagai, Tazara Aitha, Babayaf, Arataza, Akaza Takam. I think that's it.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 27. And the priest shall sprinkle with his right hand finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. Verse 28. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. Verse 29. And the rest of the oil that is in the hand he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. Verse 30. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves or of the young pigeons, such as he can get. Verse 31. Even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, with the meat offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. Verse 32. This is the law of him whom is plagued of the leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which is pertaineth to his cleansing. Verse 33. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, verse 34, when you be come into the land of Canaan, which I gave to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession.
So again, it's showing the way in which a man who was plagued with leprosy, what is the procedures to deal with that man, and how even if he is so poor that he can't make certain gets himself to make the atonement, how it should be done, right? So it's just basically straightforward, letting you know how the process was to be done, and also going into when Moses letting us know when we go into the land that he promised us, which is the land of Canaan, how we are supposed to deal with issues like that, right? So you continue the reading. The book of Leviticus, chapter 14 and verse 35. Verse 35. Waba'a asha lawa habaya wahaga yad la kahan la ama nara'a Laya, Babaya. Verse 36. Watazawa, Hakahan, Wa Panawa, Atha, Habaya, Bataram, Yaba'a, Hakahan, Lara Awaf, Atha, Hanagai, Wala'a, Yatama, Kal, Ashar, Babaya, Wa'a, Kara, Khan, Yaba'a, Hakahan, Lara Awaf, Atha, Habaya. Verse 37. Wa'ara, Ra'a, Atha, Hanagai, Wahana, Hanagai, Bakwa, Yaraf, Habayaf, Shakwa'ai, Rawa, Raf, Yarakwa, Awa, Adama, Salake, Adam, Damaf, Han, Shapal, Aporaya. Verse 38. Wayataza, Hakahan, Man, Habayat, La'a, Pathaka, Habayat, Wahasa, Gareya, Ya Ata, Habayat, Shaba'aitha Yam. Verse 39. Washabai, Hakahan, Bayawam, Hashabaya Aya, Wara'a, Wahana, Pasha, Hanagai, Wakoyara, Habaya. Verse 40. Watazawa, Hakahan, Wakalatazawa, Atha, Abanayam, Asha, Bahan, Hanagai, Wahasha, Layaka, Yalakawa, Athahan, La'a, Salaki Allah, Magawataza, La'ayara, Allah, Makwawam, Tama. Verse 41. Wa'atha, Habaya, Yakotaza'ai, Mabaya, Sabaya, Washapa Kawa, Atha, Ai Hura, Asha, Hakotazawa, Allah, Makawa Taza, La Yara, Allah, Makawam, Tama'a. That's it.
Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 35. And he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, It seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house. Verse 36. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest, go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean, and afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. Verse 37, and he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house, with hollow streaks, greenish and reddish, which inside are lower than the wall, Verse 38, the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. Verse 39, and the priest shall come again 7 days and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house. Verse 40, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and then they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. Verse 41, and he shall cause the house to be scraped with wrong about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place.
So most again, so we see in Israel, I mean, it more than ever where we understand, how to deal with issues, how to deal with disease, how to deal with infections, right? And it was no different than how you deal with it with the body. It's no different than how you deal with it. In this case, we call it leprosy that was in our house, right? So you gotta think about it in real, in terms of how science operates. If you see something that might be similar, let's say something similar like a fungal infection. So now we see mold and stuff started growing in our house, and it spreads, right? Similar to how leprosy spreads on your skin. You understand? And that's using this as an analogy. So you're seeing how these things, could spread, in a house on the walls, and it could cause medical issues, respiratory issues. You don't know what it could cause skin irritations. So when somebody sees something like this growing or on the walls in the house, he call the priest. The priest look at it, and he will say, "All right, I'll leave this house, quarantine this house for 7 days." Right? So you close up your house. If you come back and you realize like this thing's still growing inside it, then the priest take action and deal with it by removing, let's say, removing the stones. And then then you're scraping the area. You understand? To make sure you get out all this stuff and you cast it in an unclean place. So, through all the Bible, you're seeing where the Most High gave the nation of Israel the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in science and understanding how to deal with these issues as they come along. So, I don't know if you had add anything.
Yeah, and that's how because I can see, to say again when come back to the Musa and thing like that, people want to say they can't believe in God and thing, but when you check the normal common sense thing will be going on, I think just like as we see when some people the walls and thing paint and thing like painting, you get up to go and paint the house. You go and paint the house. When you go and paint the house, now you see spots that start to come back up and raise back up. Here you are, the people the owner tell but put some more paint on it again, and now you over and over painting over anything. Same thing keep on happening. And what is simple thing as when you go again, people say no, don't believe. I heard the most I said more or less creep the house. So you got some people, you rub off that, you're rubbing off that spot now to get at that thing. But what you're doing, you just keep on painting. I say, when come back to the most side, all things possible with the most side and thing, and he's right. We say, he's the science man and things, right?
Yeah, also Christ. As we will continue the reading in the book of Leviticus, chapter 14 and verse 42. Walakwa kawa abanayim akarawa ha selakia wahaba yaawa Allah sakaf ha'a selakia habanayim wa aipa akara yapoka wataka ata habayaf. Verse 43. Wa ama yashawab anagai waparaka salake waparak babayaf akara khalatazaatha ha'abanayam. wa akaria hakwatazawa ata habaya wa akaria hatawaka. Verse 44. Waba'a akahan wara'a wa hana pasha hanaga'ai babayaf tazara'aitha mamara'araf hawa'a babaya tama hawa'a. Verse 45. Wanata taza ata habayaf ata abanyawa wa ata aitazawaya wa ata kal aipara habaya wa hawa tazaya Allah makawa taza la ayara la a salakia Allah makwawa tama'a. Verse 46. Wahaba'a Allah habaya kal yamya asagariya ataw yatama'a aida rab. Verse 47. Wahashaka babayaf yakabas ata bagadayawa waha'a kal babayaf yakabas ata bagadayawa. Verse 48. Wa'ama ba'a yaba'a akahan wara'a wahana la'a pasha'a hanaga'ai babayaf akaria hataka ata habaya wataha akahan ata habaya kaya narapa hanaga'ai.
Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 42. And they shall take other stones and put them in place of those stones, and they shall take another mortar and shall plaster the house. Verse 43. And if the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he had taken away the stone, and after he had scraped the house, and after it is plastered, verse 44, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is spreading leprosy in the house, it is unclean. Verse 45, and he shall break down the house, the stone of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Verse 46, moreover, he that goeth into the house all that while that it is in shut up shall be unclean until even. Verse 47, and he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. Verse 48, and if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague had not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed.
All right, so Most High Christ, we've seen once more again, you see in clear how the Most High just deal with issues of that. So again, using the example that I had of an example of probably, I'm not saying it's exactly that, but probably where you have a spread of mold or spores, mold in, to overtake a house, or some other type of plague like that. You understand? Come into the house, we don't know what type of plague it might be in. That, I say, it's called a fretting plague. All right. Once you scrape the place, you remove the stones, and you plaster the place. Right. So you refurbish the house, and you remove that stuff. If it come back again, then the priest would pronounce it what? Unclean. But if it does not come back, then you pronounce it clean, and you're good to go back and live in the house. Right. So that is just, that is the level of which Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians understood, you understand, what the Most High gave to us in writing and how to deal with these issues like that. And the priests had to understand the science and how to deal with it, how to identify certain things and get it done. So if you had anything?
No.
Muslim Christ.
Well said.
So we're going to continue in Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 49 in the Hebrew. لقد ساء أتى أبيا شتيا تزباريم وأيتزا أرزا وشنيا تولى أيتا وأزاب. Verse 50. وشقات أتى أتزابا أخاف لا سلاكي الله كاليا كراش آل ميم قيام يم سلاكي قيام. Verse 51. ولا ققا أتا أيتزا أراز وأتا سلاكي وأتا هأزاب وأتا شنيا حتى ولا أيتا وأتا أتزبا هقيا وتز سلاكي وتا وتبال أتم بدم أتزبا أشاكا وتا وبميم هكا يم وهزاب الله هبايا شبعي فأيام سلاكي فأيام يم. Verse 52. وقتا أتا هبايا بدم أتزا هوا وبميم هقيا يم وبتزابا هقايا وبأيتزا هأراز وبأزاب وبشانيا هتوالى أيا سلاكي وا حتى ولا أيتا. Verse 53. وشلكا أتا هزبا هقيا الله مكوا تزال أيارا الله فنيا أشاد وكفا آل هبيا وتها. Verse 54. زعتا هتوا لكال Nagai, Hatazara Aitha, Wala na Takwa. Verse 55, Wala Tazara Aitha, Habaga, Salaki Habagad, Wala Hayaf. That's it.
Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 49. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds and cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop. Verse 50. And he shall kill the one of the bird in an earthen vessel over running water. 51. And he shall take the cedar wood and the hyssop and the scarlet and the living bird and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water and sprinkle the house 7 times. Verse 52. I shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird and with the running water and with the living bird and with the cedar wood and with the hyssop and with the scarlet. Verse 53. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open field and make an atonement for the house and shall be clean. Verse 54. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scald. Verse 55. And for the leprosy of a garment and of a house.
All right, so again, it's just showing you as a process in which we had to take in dealing with issues like that. When we have a leprosy, which affecting the house or a garment or anything like that, and as it goes through, you'll be able to show how you're dealing with the different types of plagues, whether it be on a person or whether it be on a house, whether it be on a garment or anything like that, that could affect us, that could affect the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What are they saying?
And then after you see again how when you see the person, you see after again when the person get the leprosy and the Mosai, the car get unclean, right? So see now the comparison here, the person that Mosai, anytime the person come around, right? So you never spot who he is. And then after when anybody coming close to him, you have to be saying leper, 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 leper. So warn the people and want to know, hey, this I that time bomb. I think don't come close to me, you come close to me, you're going and get sick, you say you warning you. Don't come close, right? And then after that, you see what happened now again in the house and all too. So all that thing they do, they scrape the wall, they break down certain break, the back break, so kind of thing. You still again, they break down the house again. So you see now, so that thing's out here again now, they're destroying your body, destroying properties and all too again.
Right.
Again, and people don't want to respect they don't want to respect the Mosai and thing. When you say keep the law, statutes, and commandments, see Martin your wholesale when I say break it down, break it down, and that's it.
That's right. And before that is added with it, they're just showing you how serious the Most High took, dealing with issues like this, right? And how in terms of preserving the life and the limb of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? And these were the measures that he would take in dealing with such issues, whether it be any type of disease, any type of issue, any type of scab, any type of leprosy, and how they should deal with it.
Okay.
And Musa in Christ. All right, so you'll continue reading in the book of Leviticus, chapter 14 and verse 56. Wala sha'ata, wala sa fakaf, wala ba haraf. Verse 57. La hawara, bayawam, hatama'a, wabayawam, hataha, za'ata, tawara, hatazara'aitha. The book of Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 1. Wayadaba Yahweh, Allah Masha, wa Allah Aharan Amma, verse 2. the ba, the bawa, Allah, banya yash'ala, wa amar ratham, alaham, ayash, ayash, kaya, haya, zaba, mabasha, wara, zawa, salake, zawabawa, tama'a, hayawa, was three, waza'ata, tahaya, tama'awaf, salakia, tama'a, thawa, bazawa, bawa, rara, basharawa, basharo, ata, zawabawa, awa, hakata yam, basharo, mazawa bawa, tama'atawa, hawa'a, verse 4, kal, hamasha kab, asha, yashakab, aliyawa, hazab, yatama'a, wakal, hakaliya, ashar, yashaba, aliyawa, yatama, verse 5, wa ayash, ashar, yaga'ai, bamasha, salakia, bamasha, kabawa, yakabas, yawa, warakatza, bamayam, watama, aida, Rab. Let's see. Listen. From 14 and 56.
Right. Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 56. And for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, verse 57, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man had a rising issue out of his flesh, he is unclean, and this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stuck from his issue. It is his uncleanness. Verse 4, every bed whereon he lieth that had the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. Verse 5, and whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe with himself in water, and be unclean until even.
So we're seeing again, talking about the same measures, by talking in a different aspect. They say if a man have a running issue, right? So when you really think of it, what is really a running issue? You know, if you have something coming out from your flesh, for example, possible example is, you know, you may get some damage, and you may have pus, you may have blood, something oozing out of your body because of this issue. A big thing, like sometimes, you know, sometimes you go to war and you get a big injury, you get a big cut, stab, some wound, and that wound sometimes would ooze stuff during that whole healing process. Now, if that fall on a bed that blood, that running, that or that pus and that stuff come in contact with anything that could carry what diseases. So again, this is all about quarantining and having that person separate from the others, because this person may ooze blood. Somebody come and sit down, they touch that, put that in the mouth. You don't know what diseases could transfer during that. Or you have some other issue running out of his body, some other orifice. Sometimes you have something problem with the ears, it can run out, something with the nose or eyes, or something he have from his anus or his penis. All these different things are running issues, right? Things that oozing out of you for some reason, right? And that could contaminate and cause diseases among the nation of Israel. So that man had to what? Separate himself, right? And this is just showing you how it's supposed to be done, right? So I don't know if you want to add anything with that.
Yeah, and that's something like you say, like, you know, sometimes some people I say they're seeing something breaking out in their skin and thing, and then after they say when you go to the priest and prophet that the most and things. Some people want to go and take it into the own hands and things like that. And when they go on, you know, they take it into the own hands because they see again how the priests and them have the laws how to deal with all these leprosy and issues and all these things and things, right? And they take it into their own hands. So that's why the most set up priests among you. When you check it out, like going to them every week, it's simple like even to the tithes and also, you know, some people in can't mind money, right? And things like, but when you check it out and then the most telling you, here going on. If you ever wherever you work for, go on wherever 10%, you go and get to the priest. But the same time you're going to the priest will be actually hey, or assist. Everything okay with you, all your problems, everything, and you will be coming. So same time they don't go and look at take things there, because you know some people again they take things in their own hand and they cause more problems than expected and then when you can stop it, which part is it? And you see what's going on. So the priest and prophets are good for you. To make you yourself aware all these things are wrong and thing, and to follow the guidelines that the Most High know to, right?
Almost like as we continue the reading in the book of Leviticus, chapter 15, from verse 6. Wahayashab, Al, Hakalaya, Ashar, Yashab, Al Yawa, Hazab, Yakabas, Bagadayawa, Warakataza, Bamayam, Wa Tama'a, Aida, Ta'ira, verse 7, Wahanagai, Babashar, Hazab, Yakabas, Bagadayawa, Warakataza, Bamayam, Watama'a, Aida, Hadaira, verse 8, Wakaya, Ya Rakwa, Hazab, Batahawa, Wakasab, Salakia, Wakabas, Bagadayawa, Warakataza, Bamayam, Watama'a, Aida, Ha'aiba, Salakia, Ha'irab, verse 9, Wakal, Amarakab, Ashar, Yarakab, Ilayawa, Hazab, Yama'a, verse 10, Wala'a, Hanagai, Bakal, Asherah, Yahaya, Tayawa, Yama'a, Aida, Ha'irab, Wahanna, Washa, Wa'atham, Yakabas, Bagadayawa, Warakataza, Bamayam, Watama, Aida, Ha'irab, verse 11. Wala'a, Asha, Yaga'ai, Bawa, Hazab, Wayadayawa, La'a, Shatab, Bamayam, Wakabas, Bagadayawa, Wara Kataza, Bamayam, Watama, Aida, Ha'ira. Yes, sir.
Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 6. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat, that had the issue, shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even. Verse 7. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that had the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even. Verse 8. And if he that had the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be clean until even. Verse 9. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that had the issue shall be unclean. Slakia. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that had the issue shall be unclean. Verse 10. And whatsoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even. Verse 11. And whosoever the issue and had not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even. Verse 12.
That's like it. It's up to, I think it's up to, oh, it's up 6 here, but.
Right. Verse 12. And the vessel of the earth that he toucheth, which had the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of the wood shall be rinsed in water. Verse 13. And when he that had the issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe in his flesh and in running water, and shall be clean.
Yeah. So again, you're seeing once more, this is straight up, you know, medical science here. I mean, any medical journal, any medical writing will show you or explain to you. And all these are what basic things that we do even now. And where did so-called medicine and where so-called quarantine come from? Right in the scriptures. Today, everybody knows to wash their hand from coronavirus. And even then before, there were always basic principles. Whenever you touch somebody who had some issue, some fluids coming out of their body, is what? You have to wash your hands. And we carry that step further where you have to quarantine yourself for the rest of the evening from other persons. Because those infections could what? Jump. You go and touch this here, you hold this cup, you hold this something, you touch this table, you hold this clothes. These fluids could go on these stuff. You put it on, you rub your eye, you put your hands in your mouth, you scratch your nose, and you could get yourself infected. And these, it's showing you what? Back then, how clean the nation of Israel was. You touch this thing, you have to what? Bathe and wash your clothes. You understand? To make sure that there's no transfer of disease from one person to the other. And that was basically very straightforward. And the scripture showing how scientific the Most High was in dealing with the nation of Israel. So I don't know if you had anything.
Yeah, and that's something like one of them things what happened like some years ago, and everybody my mom's.
That's right.
Everybody, somebody see about soul upon everybody that keeping a distance and things. Nobody wanna smell mouth thing coming at them.
So I mean, all these are a lot of different things, a lot of infections like mumps and we call it chicken pox. Another big one was like tuberculosis.
Good.
You understand? All these are what? Very infectious diseases. And anytime you have a sign or something like that, boom, you quarantine your one time. Wash your clothes and deal with all these issues one time before they become what? Very infectious. Right? And with that, that brings us to the end of the Sabbath service. We say a medium. Okay. Sir.
La Shala to Israel.
Marching up on your upper down, to rise and face the east. Sir.
We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemaya, Dash, Yamka, Yahweh, Lakwaka, Lakwaka, Zaka, Aisha, Arataza, Hawa, Ayat, Shemaya, Matan, Anawa, Akam, Kal, Yawam, Asalaknoa, Labwaknoa, Asalaknoa, Labwakinoa, Laat, Tabianoa, Asawan, Bal, Awashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Aka, Malakwa, Alala, Atapara, Aranomia, Aman.
We just said in English. Our Father,
Father,
in heaven,
hallowed
be thy name.
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come.
thy kingdom come, thy will be done,
Good.
in earth,
As it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive
our debtors,
lead us not
and lead us not
temptation,
temptation,
deliver us from evil.
deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and
and the glory, forever.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to say the Hakat, Yahweh, Hashem, Oshai, Bakasham, Atan Noah, Akat, Akat, Kalmakala, Kalmadawan, Akat, Lata, Mazariam, Akat, Lakoyam, Amatayam, Akat, Iwakawat, Amala, Lagarishim, Hashem, Oshai, Wadaman.
We just say in English, Lord, name of your Shai. Please give us the power. To heal. One man of sickness.
One man of disease.
For to cleanse the
leper.
For to raise the dead. For against unclean spirits. Cast them out. Name of your Shai. Thank you.
So be it. We're going to say, bless Israel, Yahweh, Hashem, Oshai, Noah, Rashala, Abayat, Saparium, Barak, Magan, Basham, Oshai, Wadaman.
We just say now in English, Lord,
Lord,
name of your Shai. Bless us.
Bless us.
And Israel.
And Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Shield.
Protect.
Protect.
Loved ones.
Our loved ones.
No more ever shall.
They won't be outside. Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. We will say Psalm 121. Ashaya. Ashaya. Ayanya. Alhariyam. Ayan. Yaba'a. Isaiah. Ayam. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Warataza. Ayatan. Amawat. Ragalka. Ayanawam. Shamalka. Ana. La'a. Yanawam. Wala'a. Yayashan. Shamawam. Yashala. Yahweh. Shamalka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Idiyai. Shamyamka. Yamyamka. Yaumam. Asamash. La'a. Yakalka. Wayarak. Baala. Yahweh. Yashamaka. Makalrai. Yashama. Adnashpaka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Tazaka. Wabawaka. Ma'aita. Wa'id. I will.
In English, you say, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
Whence cometh my help?
Whence cometh my help?
I come from the Lord.
Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
You
not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee.
Not slumber.
Will not slumber.
He
Behold.
that keepeth
He
Israel.
that keepeth Israel.
Not slumber nor sleep.
Will not slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The shade upon thy right
The
hand.
Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thy
Nor the
day.
moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve
The
thee.
Lord shall preserve thee from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The Lord
soul.
shall preserve thy going
The Lord
out.
shall preserve thy
And thy
going
coming
in.
in.
And thy coming in.
This time forth.
From this time forth.
Even forevermore.
And even forevermore. We say Psalm 33. Al-Hayam. Al-Malayaka. Al-Tashakwash. Al-Tashakwat. Al-Kaya. Ana. Awaboka. Yahama. Yawan. Waish. Warash. Al-Maka. Ra'ai. Rayama. Yamwa. Sawada. Wayata. Ya'aita Zawo. Aita Rawanka. Amawo. Lakawo. Wanakadam. Magawiya. Wala'a. Yasaka. Shamyashala. Aiwada. Kaya. Nawata Zawo. Laba. Yakawada. Yakadwa. Ayaka. Bariat. Yakwa Watwa. Alhaya. Adawam. Wayashamai. Alhayam. Mababa. Wagariam. Gabal. Waymanuan. Waymalak. Pasalat. Palashat. Amishabia. Tazawak. Amashawak. Sanawat. Imam. Hayawa. Zawawai. Laban. Yalawat. Salah. Aishalam. Aishalaham. Kamadian. Kasaya. Sarah. Kamadian. Banakal. Koyashwan. Nasha Madwa. Bayan Daira. Hayawa. Daman. Laadama. Shaya Tamwa. Nada. Yamawa. Kairab. Kazabak.
Wakazabak,
Wakatazal, Manai, Kal Nasa Yam Kamwa, Asha, Amuwo, Nayarashan, Nanawa, At, Nawat, Alahaya, Shaya, Tamwa, Gangala, Kakwash, Lapanya, Waroka, Kaish, Karash, Tabaira, Raira, Wakalaba, Talahat, Kawayam, Kan Tabradaima, Tarapanma, Basaraika, Wabosa, Wapatka, Tabahalam, Malaha, Panyaham, Palawan, Wayabaswa, Kamka, Yahawa, Yabaswa, Wayabalhalwa, Ayai, Wakaya, Wayapawa, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kayata, Yahawa, Labatka, Aiwan, Aikaya, Aratiza.
We now say in English, is keep not thy silent to God.
Keep not silent to God.
And hold not thy peace.
And hold not thy peace.
And be not still,
And be not still, God.
For lo,
For
thy enemies make it to mouth.
thy enemy make it too much.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
They lift up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel. Against thy people. And consulted. Against thy hidden ones. They have said. Come and let us cut them off. From being a nation. In the name of Israel. No more remembrance. They have consulted together. One consent. They have conferred against the tabernacle of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. And Moab. And the Hagarenes. Baal. Amalek. And the Philistines. The inhabitants of Tyre. Assur. Also joined with them. They are falsehood. The children of Lot. Salah. Unto them. And to the Midianites. Sisera. To Jobin. The brook of Kisul. Parents of Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their noble. Like Oreb, like Z, yea, all your princes, as Sabbath, and as Luna, said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God, in possession. Oh my God, make them like a weed, let us throw before the wind, and the fire burn into wood, and with flames set in the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, make them afraid with thy storm, fill their faces with shade, that they may seek thy name, O Lord, let them be confounded, troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, the Most High, over all the earth. So, let's get this. Israel, let's give a courtesy salute. Imagine Shabbat, Imagine the Rock, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai B'Katah, the Yamata, Class Smiths.
That thing is sometimes dazzling the eye with the plastic.
Still up here?